Hey everybody, welcome to Weight Loss for Women Over 40. Today I have another fantastic former client of mine, Tiffany, coming on to talk to you about her journey and working with me. But before that, I want to welcome everyone to the podcast. So if you are new here, welcome to my little section of the internet where we're against dieters mentality. No more counting calories, no more obsessively meal planning, none of that stuff. If you're a longtime listener, thank you so much for being here because I really appreciate you staying, sticking around, listening, following, sharing, all that good stuff. And if you are struggling with cravings, I am happy to tell you that my course on cravings, Crush Your Cravings, is out and it is a really special deal. It's only $7, which is absolutely ridiculous because it's probably worth at least $300. But you're going to get it for $7 if you go to weightlossforwomenover40.net/crush. So go grab it now because it's only going to be $7 for a limited time. And let's dive into today's, I always say topic. We're not talking about topic. I did this to the last client I wrote on, Tiffany. I said, we're going to talk about a topic. And I was like, no, we're going to talk to a human being today. So, Tiffany Green, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
I am so excited to talk to you about your journey. So tell everyone kind of like what you do, your backstory, that kind of thing.
So I just turned 50 this year. I
Happy
am a nurse. I've been
birthday.
yeah.
Welcome to the club.
I have been a nurse for about, I think it's more than 25 years. I've lost count. I'm married. I have two kids. And I have always struggled with my weight. I've always just yo-yoed up and down and really was just losing hope that I was never going to be able to lose weight and keep it off.
Yeah, and you're not alone. There are thousands of women, thousands and thousands of women who feel that way. And I think too, because we're in the same generation, I'm only a year older, maybe a little bit more, because I'm going to be on 52 soon. But yeah, we were taught, to kind of just follow this dieter's mentality blindly, right? And now because of the internet, there's so much information out. And, it's like it's almost like wildfire because someone takes this spin and then spins it again and spins it again. And now it's like, whoa, what do we believe? What do we, and I think from my own professional experience, it's like it's so negative the way that we look at our bodies, the way we look at our food, the way we look at losing weight and all that. And it needs to change because that's not the way to do it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, changing my mindset, I can hear all the negative talk and from people like at work, and I'm picking up on it more and more the longer that have gone out from working with you.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
I
sticking with
equate it
me.
to like nails on a chalkboard
Yeah.
because it's like you can't unsee it anymore.
Yeah.
And it's very glaringly obvious when you're not in dieter's mentality because there's so many people that are in it. Yeah, for me, it's like the young kids are saying, it's like the ick factor, right? It's like,
Hmm.
I just, ugh. But then I'm like, I can totally help you if you want to help. So talk to everyone about kind of like how, did you try a lot of diets before? What was your MO for trying to get weight off before you
Oh
met me?
gosh. So, um, I was just like sort of a normal kid. And after I had my first baby, I used Weight Watchers and it worked. And I got back down to my pre-pregnancy weight. But I was definitely, I don't want to say starving myself, but like you're weighing, you're measuring, you're counting, you're doing all that stuff that's taking a lot of time. Um, and you can only do that for so long before you're like, I'm just tired of doing that. And then it slowly starts to, you know, it just kind of goes by the wayside. Um, So then I got pregnant again, and after my second, I really had a hard time losing weight. I did Weight Watchers again. I have done, what's the all protein, the Atkins. I have done really just trying to starve myself or doing like shakes in the morning and then not eating anything until dinner. Just like so many different things. A lot of um, counting and measuring and following recipes exactly and drinking, 8 glasses of water and writing it down.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like it seriously is like an 80-hour job
Yeah,
that you are not getting paid for. You're literally volunteering for this. Like,
yeah,
could you imagine going to an 80-hour job and
no,
hating it every single second pretty much and being like, yes, give me more. I'm
yeah.
I'm excited to be here. No paycheck, not a problem, right? Yeah, it's crazy. Um, yeah, and I do think your story's not that far off from every other free client, that I've talked to in the sense of like they've been to, I like to call it the Weight Watchers of the Weight
Yes,
program where you're just going to meetings and again, diets technically do work. However, it's miserable. Like we're programmed for instant gratification, right?
yeah.
Which a lot of those diets play on. They're like, yes, lose 20 pounds in one day, right? But please don't do that. But the problem comes is that it's not sustainable. Like you just can't live that way. And if you hate the way you're losing weight the entire time, right? You may have a glimmer here and there, but if you hate it, you're not going to do it. You're
Yeah,
just not going
yeah.
to do it. Not going to
It
keep
was
moving.
also, I had a hysterectomy when I was 40. So I immediately went into menopause because I had everything taken out. And then the past couple years, I had big surgeries. I had a double mastectomy and reconstruction and everything. So there was a lot going on in my 40s
Mhm.
that I don't ever want to happen again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so, after my big surgeries, I really just like my mind was like, all right, I really got to do something. And I don't even remember how I found you. Like, I wish I could remember how I found you. And I think you just like popped up on my feed one day and I listened to a podcast and I was like, all right, I think I want to try this. This like sounds really, really good because nothing is working. Nothing is working. And my body has totally changed from what it used to be. And I'm just going to try this. And I'm really glad that I did.
I'm really glad too. Because you came in, you came in June of, what did we say? Last year?
2024. Yep.
Yeah, 2024. And did I get fuzzy all of a sudden? I'm very fuzzy on my side.
Now
Okay.
you're good.
For those of you who are listening, it doesn't matter. But if you're watching on YouTube, I just had a moment there. Um, so it's been a year. And when you came in, we did 9 weeks of private coaching. And I walked you through basically the Jumpstart program, which is now, if you guys are listening from the other podcast, the Jumpstart program used to be a 12-week program, but now it's a video vault that you can kind of walk yourself through, but you also have group coaching each week for a whole entire year. So we worked together for 9 weeks. We did Jumpstart. It was kind of like a customized version, really, for you. And we did private coaching where I coached you on the topics that you were learning.
Hmm.
Um, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I was actually in Europe for
Yes.
part of that. So there was some, I don't want to say gaps, but like there was a week or two where I was like, you have access to me, but you don't have like direct access to me because
Yes.
I didn't have, I didn't know what to expect when I was in Europe. And I'm glad I did say that to you because I did not have, like the internet was just wonky. But so you went through the 9 weeks and you lost 10 pounds during that time. So that's
Yes.
a pound a week, roughly, actually a little bit more. So tell everyone your experience, how it was working with me, the material that we talked about, and really kind of understanding the mindset process.
Yeah. so eye-opening. It was very difficult at first. Um, but I loved rule number one. And I still live by rule number one to this day. But I really had to listen to my body. And it really took a few weeks to understand my body. But once that happened, it became much easier. And the coaching every week. We talked about different things every week, all mindset related, and trying to open new pathways of my brain because your brain just goes automatic to the easiest thing and tells you you can't do it, you're never going to be able to do this. So really working with telling myself that I can do it and picking out these phrases that I'm saying, like, I shouldn't have done that, or I should have done that, and I shouldn't eat that, but, and all a dieter's mentality that you really have helped me to find in my life. And I'm still finding them in my life, and I'm still trying to overcome them. And there are some times where I catch myself saying, I shouldn't have done that. Or I know that, and I can probably count on one hand the amount that I have overeaten since I started working with you, where I have been like, oh my God, I'm so full. I shouldn't have done that. Where before that, it was like probably once a week
Mm.
that I
That's
was doing that.
huge. Yeah, that's huge. So you went to 52 times a year to about five, if you were
Yeah,
saying,
yeah,
yeah. Um, yeah, and I think it's funny because people come in unless they've like usually I do a call, where I'm talking to people and but sometimes people come in depending on what I'm offering and they come with this dieter's mentality and they're like, why are we not talking about calories and why are we not talking about workouts and exercise, right? And I love when they say that because private clients do it, but it's like, no, that's not the issue here. Like
and
it's
I
the
love that.
mindset
I
part.
love that. I love not counting calories and I love not measuring and doing all that. Um, that is like a dream to me that I'm not doing any of that and I am still losing weight. That is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I am so glad you love it because that was actually the one of the pivotal moments in my life because I was measuring and weighing so much. I mean, like to the gram, like on a kitchen scale, to the gram, not even in ounces, not even not or what is cups, grams. We were in metric system here. And for those of you, in the not in the US, I know that's normal for you, but like, and I would just scrape off the top if it was like even a slight bit off and it was
Yeah.
obsessive and I was like this is absolutely ridiculous. Not only is it not ridiculous in the sense of like it's just a lot. It's like, and then what am I teaching my kids? What are they seeing me this obsessive, person just scraping off protein powder out of this cup and weighing
Yeah.
my chicken so in cutting this little tiny piece off and putting it back in the fridge like it's just nonsense. And I mean that in the most healthiest way, right?
Yeah.
Like, because I don't want to shame myself or anybody else for doing that, but it's like, is that how you want to live? Because if it
Right.
is, great, keep doing it. If it lights you up, that's fine. But it was not lighting me up and it was very frustrating. And I was like, there's got to be another way. And
Yeah.
that is when I started playing, and which is now what I offer today.
And I know we had talked a lot through my coaching because we do eat out a lot because, we both work full time and we're just so busy and we still eat out a lot. And I always have leftovers. And sometimes my meals are like three meals instead of one meal now. And it's just the way that I eat now, and it's great.
the awesome thing about that is if you go out to a restaurant and you really enjoyed the meal, not only are you eating it out, but now you get to enjoy it for like four more meals.
Right, right.
Right?
The only time I eat everything is when we go to our favorite Thai restaurant. I eat my whole meal. I'm like, I'm eating my whole meal. I know that. I'm accepting that
Well,
right now.
and that's why I love the flexibility of rule number one, because there is flexibility. So for you guys listening that don't know exactly what rule number one is, just know it's not like this dead set, like rigid thing. It's flexible. It has space for you to do other things depending on what your goals are. Um, so like,
And I know there's like two parts to rule number one.
right.
And the second part was really hard for me to learn. That was the hardest part for me to learn, was the second part of rule one. But once I learned it, it's awesome now.
Yeah, I think, yeah. Without getting into rule number one. But yeah, we're just conditioned to not pay
Hmm.
attention.
Hmm.
And we're conditioned to have like, I mean, if you ever, you go out to dinner, unless you go to like the five-star, really elite, French cuisine popping into my head, like where this little
Yeah.
tiny part, is on the plate.
Where it's an actual serving.
Exactly. Right. And I don't like talking about servings, but like it's ridiculous how much food, I mean, think about fast food. Oh, let's supersize it. Let's double up. Let's have a triple Mac burger or whatever. Like you don't actually physically need that unless you're running a marathon, unless you're doing all this physical activity.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's so eye-opening. But the beauty about rule number one too is you don't have to like count things. You don't have to like bring an app to log your food. Like it's just you know what to do and you just use it. That's it.
Yeah.
Um, so anything else out of your experience working together for those 9 weeks that comes up that's like an aha or anything like that?
Um, no, I think it was really just learning the rule and adjusting my mind and my body to that rule. I know the last time I still have like all my notes written down from the last
I
time
love it.
that we met. And they are like they're on my where I get ready every morning and I like read them every morning. And it's just like this little inspiration to me.
Oh, that's awesome. I
If I
love it.
could just say anything, take notes. I wish that I had taken more notes every single time that we got together. But I was just like so involved in the conversation and what we were talking about that I just like forgot to take notes. But if I can, if you're going to work with Nikki, take notes just so that you can refer to them all the time.
Yeah, you're like me. Whenever I work with a coach, most of mine are like business coaches and stuff like that. I'm frantically like writing notes because I think there's an aspect when you're working with someone, like in a coach, mentor, whatever capacity, like I always show up like I'm coming to get what I came for, right? And that is the way my private clients are. They're like, "Yes, I'm going to, really siphon as much as I can because and I encourage that because you're only with me for a certain duration of time and you're paying money to, work with me and
Yeah,
get what you came for." Like
yeah,
and then there's some people that are just not note takers. They just, they absorb it subliminally. I don't know, but
yeah,
that's
yeah.
not me. I need notes. Like I need notes to reference. I need notes to like go back on. It's funny. I don't know why this popped in my head, but when you showed me your cheat sheet, we so when I was in college for physical therapy school, the physics teacher allowed us to have an index card that was the bigger index cards. And he said, you can write down all the formulas, whatever you want, take the final exam. And needless to say, physics is not my strong suit. Like I understand gravity, I understand torque and all that. But I had filled up that board, that little index card with the smallest print, like you could, and I could read it at the time. I didn't need glasses. And I remember him coming around to my desk during the exam and picking it up and looking at it, 'cause there was both sides. And he was like, I am so impressed
You got the
of
whole
this.
textbook here.
I literally, yeah. I wish I had kept it. I don't know where it is. But
You wouldn't be able to read it now.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't be able to, I wouldn't understand it either, I'm sure. But anyway, side note. Okay, so tell everyone what you've been up to since you left.
Okay, so we I got a puppy very shortly after I was done with you. And that has really encouraged me to walk because he is a very high energy puppy. So I took on walking, not really wanting to walk, but I did it anyway. And I have become an avid walker. And it's like my getaway. And we
Mhm.
walk together 3 or 4 times a week, I would say. And I have lost an additional about 10 pounds since I stopped working with you. But my biggest goal, because this is huge for me, is the winter time. I get very down and depressed, and I always gain weight over the winter time. So my goal this year was that I didn't want to gain weight. I actually, lost a little bit of weight, which is amazing. But I didn't gain any weight. And we walked through the winter time, which was, if you live in the Northeast, you know that it
Mhm.
was freaking cold this
Yes.
winter.
Yes, it was.
And we walked. And the month of March, I turned 50, so I decided that I wanted to walk 50 miles in the month of March.
Nice.
So we did that, and Woody, my dog, walked 50 miles with me in the month of March. And I can see it has just lifted my soul, my emotional well-being, my physical well-being through the winter time. And is the first time in the winter time that I was not depressed and I did not gain weight and I felt really, really good. And knowing how I felt this winter, I know that next winter I am going to get my butt out there and I am going to walk 3 to 4 times a week like I did this winter because what it did for me is like off the chart amazing.
Yeah, I definitely want to talk about walking. But before I do that, I just want to say, so you lost a total of 20 pounds over this
Yes.
past
10
year.
months.
10 months, you said. Yeah.
Yes.
And I do remember you saying, you were concerned about the winter and you were concerned about overeating. And I think that's a normal concern. Like we kind of go into the hibernation mode, right?
Hmm.
Where we just want to eat comfort food and be warm and just, hunker down. Um, so the fact that you took the information and then went through the winter and still, and I'm guessing some of the mindset stuff that you learned, I'm sure helped in the sense of like not only getting out to go walk when it's freaking 30 some degrees.
Like 0 degrees.
Yeah. Um, and also, everything that you were taught as far as following rule number one and all that stuff. But um, yeah, I think part of here's the thing that I think most people miss in the sense of like walking is, especially in the winter, especially if you're not in Florida, right? If you're in the colder regions, getting the vitamin D from the sun directly, like, is key. And I think getting out there, getting fresh air, hearing the whatever birds are hanging out, whatever winter creatures are stirring, there is something about that feeling the coldness on your face, like all that, I think energizes you and
It really does. It really
yeah,
does.
and it makes you appreciate coming inside too.
Yes, it does. I actually, the other day, I was like, oh my gosh, I might miss the cold a little bit because walking when it's like 90 degrees and like 90% humidity, I don't know how I'm
Yeah.
going to handle that. I
Well, I
might want the
think,
cold back.
yeah, because I know we're not too far away location wise, but
Yeah.
here's what I think. I think it's important to, and I should practice this a little bit more myself, but like, because I love walking, but being outside all year round kind of helps your body adjust to the temperature changes, unless
Hmm.
it's, we're in Jersey, so like sometimes it's like 95 and then the next day it's like 40.
Yeah.
But having your body kind of acclimate to, because a lot of times the season will kind of change a little bit. We might have those ups and downs. But I think that helps acclimate your body so you can kind of adjust to that humidity, even if you're not walking, long distance or whatever
Yeah. Yeah.
summer. But I will say for walking in general, I think walking is so underrated in the fitness arena
A
because,
hundred percent.
yeah, one, if you're a woman over 40, it is a low level activity. I mean, anybody can do it, of course, but we're talking to women over 40. When you're over 40, um, it keeps your cortisol levels lower because when you go in to do HIIT classes or some high intensity running or something like that, you're spiking your cortisol levels, which is a lot of times why we have that increase in the belly area. Um, Not to say that doing intense workouts is bad for you, but in my opinion, it should spike. It should be short duration, 2 or 3 times a week, if that, and that's it. The rest of your time, movement wise, other than weight training, should be walking. Should be, in my opinion. And I'm using the word should. However, because it's a low level activity that we can all do, and we can all, park further from the mall, do all the things, right? You can do, like,
Yeah.
I have a treadmill. Um, that's one that you can put under the desk. You can, it's small enough where I can move it wherever I want to. I can do work, all that stuff. So, um, definitely get outside, but if you have the opportunity to get one of those treadmills, and they're so cheap now. Um, I know for me personally, when I was going through my personal stuff with my marriage and now divorce, I walked a ton. I mean, I'm talking, I put in 20,000 steps probably easily a day. And
Wow.
it was so cathartic for me.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so, like, I would take my daughter to soccer and she'd be there for a couple hours and I would just walk. So you can listen to podcasts, you can listen to anything, that kind of thing. So don't miss out on walking. Go take
Yeah,
advantage of
I a
that.
hundred percent. I mean, I listen to podcasts, I listen to old sermons, I listen to music. Sometimes I don't listen to anything and I just listen to nature. Like the other day, we went down to the river and just listening to the river and all the birds and animals around is just like I don't think we do that enough. And
100%.
it's just good for your soul.
Yeah, I think I know for me there was a lot of gratitude in the, like, practicing gratitude in those moments, because I mean I just would look at the sky and be like, holy cow, like it's amazing. Like it's so beautiful, right?
Hmm.
And soccer time, of course, you see the sunset a lot of times and it's like, it's just it's so like the planet that we live on, we just don't take, in my opinion, enough gratitude for what's going on. I mean,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the
And I
miracles that
think
are happening
walking
in
is
front of us.
really able to let you do that.
Yeah, yeah. And you just need a pair of shoes and a place to
Yeah.
go. That's it.
Yeah.
Like that's it. And shoes are optional, I guess, when you want.
Yeah.
So I love that you lost 20 pounds in 10 months. Again, if you're in dieter's mentality and you're listening to that, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's not enough in 10 months. Like you should have lost 160 pounds. No, the fact that you maintained and you're keeping it off and still progressing, and I don't know, do you still have a goal or are you maintaining? What is your status?
So now that the weather is nicer, I would like to lose another 10 pounds before the winter time. And I am okay with slow. And I know that we had talked about that because that's another one of those things like I should be losing like 1 pound a week. And if I'm not losing 1 pound a week, like I'm not like being successful. And I have really like I've gotten over that. That is not my mentality anymore. And am just happy with what I am losing because I know that it's not going to come back. So I would be happy with another 10 pounds. I am ecstatic because when I took some of my warm weather clothes out, like they were like loose on me,
That's
which never
awesome.
happens.
That's awesome. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
totally going to nail 10 more pounds. That's not a problem. I have no doubt in my mind for you. So I have belief in you.
thank you.
Because
Yes, thank you for helping me. I mean, like
oh, you're
it
welcome.
has truly been life-changing.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like, my journey and the information that kind of came to me, like I'm so happy that I can share with other people and that it is helping and making a difference because I don't think anybody should hate themselves skinny. I don't think the dieter's mentality stuff that we're taught and are still subscribing to, most of us, like it just creates this storm of I hate my body, I hate this process, I can't do it, like this very negative spin. And it just doesn't have to be that way.
It does not have to be that way.
It can be very simple and
Yes.
uncomplicated.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Any last things you want to share before I dive into the lightning round?
Um,
Actually, I have a question before you do
yes.
that. If someone was interested in doing the jump start, like, or a friend came up to you, what would you tell them about that? Like, if you could concise it into 2 or 3 sentences.
I would say that it's something that you should do because what Nikki is going to teach you is going to be life-changing and it's going to be forever. And you deserve it.
Yeah, they definitely deserve it. It's time. Like 40 some years of beating themselves up. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Are you ready for the lightning round?
Sure.
Which do you prefer, coffee or tea?
Tea, 100%.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I like a chai every now and then.
Oh, my chai tea latte is my favorite, but
Mm,
I drink just tea every morning, no coffee ever.
we can still be friends. It's okay. I'm just kidding. Okay, so we have all had some sort of unique job in the past. What is yours?
Unique job. What have I done? Oh my gosh, I've been a nurse for so long. I don't. My very first job, I worked at the library and I re-shelved books.
That sounds fun.
That was a
Did you read
long time ago.
read decimal system or what?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, oh, I give you props for that. I remember going into libraries and
$5 an hour. $5 an hour. That's what I get.
wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those numbers, I'm like, and then, it's like four numbers and then dot zero, another number
Right.
with
And
the
they had
letters.
to be all, in order so that if they weren't, I would change them and make them right.
You
Yes.
must have hated the people that were just like shoving them in wherever.
Yes.
There's a cart for that. For anybody that is randomly listening that doesn't know what the Dewey Decimal System is, you need to Google it with the little pull-out drawers.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. All right. Let's see. What movie would you never get tired of watching?
2 weeks notice. That is like my ultimate
With
Hugh Grant and Sandra Bullock.
okay. That's on my list to watch. I don't, did I see, I don't,
Oh my gosh, I love that movie. Their banter back and forth is just hilarious.
wait a minute. So I think I
He
saw this. There was a while I was binging a couple. He's British, right? And
he's British.
is he like
Yep.
like a premier,
He's like a businessman,
like a diplomat?
like real estate, and she's a lawyer, and she's like totally into helping the little person doing all pro bono work, and he
I
ends up
haven't seen
he talks her into hiring her to be his lawyer, um,
it. Okay.
just to save the community center, in Brooklyn where she, lives or
Yeah, I haven't
whatever,
seen it.
and it's
It's on my
hilarious.
list,
Yeah,
but
I love
yeah,
that. Every time I see it on, I watch it.
that's awesome. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what the movie was. I know it had Hugh Grant in it. He was like a prime minister or something. Anyway, if anybody knows the name of the movie I'm talking about, just pop it into Instagram for me. All right. Well, thank you so much, Tiffany, for coming on and sharing your journey with everyone. I am so excited that I got to work with you, and I'm so excited that you are carrying on everything and still continuing to get the body that you want. in the
Thank you
pace that
so
you
much
want.
for having me. I appreciate it. And I am just so glad that I found you and that we work together.
Yeah, it's funny. I feel like the people that are meant to find me, I just kind of pop up. I just appear on social media or somewhere.
It was meant to be.
Meant to be. Awesome. Well, thank you again so much for being on, everybody listening. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for subscribing and following. And please, if this lit you up, go ahead and share it with a friend that could use a little pick me up. And for everybody listening, you can always stalk me on Instagram at Weight Loss for Women Over 40. Facebook is my now maiden name, Nicole Tournay. Everywhere else is Weight Loss for Women Over 40, so you can find me. So have a beautiful day, and I'll see you on the next podcast.